Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Danielle. I'm from Cageless Readings. So today's pick a card, we're going to be looking at how do the people who know you see you. So I am doing this as a collective reading, so it's not just like the viewpoint of one person, but the general the general amount, the people who see you, how do they generally see you? So I have some cards already pre-pulled. There's a couple of animal oracle cards in here to get some clarity on how they're seeing you, as well as some other oracle cards from the angels and ancestors decks to clarify further on how they see you. Then I also pulled some archetype cards on what you've taught them. And then I haven't pulled them yet, just pull like a card or two of guidance from your guides while they have your attention. And I might also give you an affirmation from the Louise L. Hay deck. So yeah, it's not going to be super long, but just kind of like a quick little light pick me up, because I really feel like the stuff that's going to come through is going to be really kind and loving. So that being said, if you want to take a few deep breaths, get grounded in your bodies, reconnect with your intuition, calm down that nervous system so that we can read your highest potential, the things of love and light in your energy, and not your fears and your worst nightmares. So that's being said, once you've taken a few deep breaths, just look at these piles and ask if there's a message for you in one of them. Pile 1 is going to be, I think they call it Fairy Quartz, is what they had titled it. Fairy Quartz. I mean, it looks very fairy-like. And it's a cluster. Pile 2 is this Smokey Quartz cluster. We'll focus on it. There we go. Pile 3 is this Clear Quartz cluster. Let's see. There we go. This one's a little smaller than the others, so it's a little harder to really get the details of it. Anyways, I'll give you a couple minutes here to take a look and see if any of these piles resonate with you or feel like there's a message in it for you. Hello, pile 1. So you chose the Fairy Quartz. I'll put it just in the corner here, and let's look at the cards that we have. So those over there for now. For how people see you, we have Firefly and Scorpion. Okay. And then to further clarify, we have Drum, Dream and Journey, Guardian Angel, You're Not Alone, Sage, Be Devoted and Committed. We have Air Guardian, Shift Your Perception. So I will just lay these out there. This is how you've taught them, so I'll just wait on that. Okay, double check you can see everything. Beautiful. Okay, pile 1. So you might have been drawn to the fairy quartz because people might literally say you remind them of a fairy. That's the vibe I'm getting. Or you really like fairies and you would be honored if people thought of fairies when they saw you. I feel like there's some sort of connection there. I also wasn't anticipating getting like physical attributes for this pile, but I feel like this pile, I think you're kind of more, I don't know, if you're a lady, you're petite. If you're a man, I think you're short and stocky. But because I keep getting with the Firefly, like you come in a small package is what they're saying, or you come in a smaller package than others, but you've got a whole ton of fire and personality and play in that package. Like it makes me think of that expression that you're like fun size, like your party, your little party animal. It's kind of how people see you. That being said, I also feel like they're saying like you have a lot of deep emotions that you experience. I do feel like how would I say this? Like this is like all about fire energy, which is really interesting. But I think what they and it says say firefly, but what I keep getting though is like I feel like if people first meet you, they're not expecting you to be as bold as you are or to be as spunky is kind of a word I'm getting as you are, because I think your physical stature makes people think that you're going to be like shy or something like that. But then the people who know you're like, oh no, you are just like a bright, radiant, high energy, high play, high like attitude kind of person. And I want to be clear, when I'm saying attitude, I feel like it's like very in a very playful sense. So like I think you're generally pretty easygoing, but I don't know, like I keep thinking like this is like a lot of air energy, so you might have a lot of like like actual air signs in your astrology chart, or they might be in a main like placement in your chart or something like that. Because I can't, I mean, also fireflies fly, so that also does make sense. I just feel like you kind of can like I know that's what he's talking about, like having a lot of thinking energy, and so I was making me think of like Scorpio energy, but I feel like it means like you can kind of really like breeze through different emotions is the analogy I'm getting with this like air guardian and shifting your perception. Like I feel like you don't hold grudges for long. I feel like you might have a little bit of a, I don't know, like you might not like something and be like feisty about it, might be the word people would use, and then you're kind of over it. So that being said, it does also make me think of like Aries energy, where you don't hold grudges, but you also express yourself emotionally in the moment. And then for further clarity on how they see you, like I love this like dream and journey. You're not alone. Being devoted. All these cards also like make me feel like you have a lot of like connection to the earth. I don't know if that's like just your soul in general. Maybe you like being outdoors a lot. Maybe you have a huge passion for the outdoors, whether that's like environmentalism, conservation, or just doing physical activities out there. The drum card and the sage card makes me feel like you get a lot of clarity being outdoors. I also feel like it helps you be more balanced in this world. So that's why I feel like I keep getting like you have this energy of being like a fairy, because like you really like being in nature to get grounded and reconnect with yourself. And I feel like it's also how you kind of just like when I'm seeing this card here, I feel like it makes you feel like you are connected to everyone, to a greater purpose, to like it just really recenters you. So this is interesting that this is coming on how people see you. So I almost feel like people are saying like you can be so grounded, and you have like this really higher divine wisdom that comes through a lot of the time. Like I think people would also call you like a star child or a star seed, or neurodivergent, like that kind of like it depends on what kind of group of friends you have. I feel like they would use a different word that kind of means the same thing there. um this probably might also just love astrology, love stargazing, love just knowing things about space. That wouldn't surprise me, which I know you can be like, well, how does that have anything to do with fairies? I feel like it's because that's where you feel like you're connected to also the more spiritual side of the world. I mean, you do definitely like earthy energies too, though. It's like, that's why I think it's just such a nice balance. Such a nice balance. Also, I keep being drawn to the peacock feather, which to me always means vibrancy and not being afraid to stand out, which is just going back to really being a key thing how people see you is you're not afraid to stand out. You're not afraid to be quirky or different or a little unusual. Like, I feel like if you're out in public, you probably make friends or you talk to people beside you. Maybe they don't become a close friend, but you just have an energy, a warm energy where people feel really easy talking to you. Or maybe you're just there talking with your friends and people will want to join in on the conversations and start talking with you in your group. Like, I think it's you who creates that energy that pulls other people in. um Shift your perception. I was kind of saying this earlier, like I feel like people see that you're not rigid, and you might think you're stubborn, but I don't think you actually are. You feel like they're saying like you might be kind of like, yeah, this is like the thing I want to do and have like this strong opinion about it, but I feel like you're actually quite open to hearing other people's opinions and reflections and shifting how you were perceiving something or seeing something. Especially with the sage card, like I feel like they just say like you'll really pause and think things through, or really pause and just really try to see the higher picture, or like the third party perspective, like the bigger picture, If that makes sense. Also, when I see this, like, there's like a pyramid here and there's three things, I do feel like that's it. Like, I feel like you're very well known for like being a good mediator in conversations or arguments or disagreements where you can like kind of be with this higher up person who sees both sides. And this could be the situations that you're in. So you might literally work a job or something like that where you kind of are like the conflict resolutioner, if that makes sense. Like you help resolve conflicts and problems. And I think that just kind of follows through in other places of your life. But you do it with like a very non-judgmental attitude and you make everything feel really light. Like that's what I keep getting. Like you you really do have overall like a really like loving energy about you that just draws people in. Like it's like fiery, but it also feels so loving and light. I think you'd have like a really good connection with your inner child, like the joy side of things. Yeah, if that would be like another way to explain that. Yeah, drum. Yeah. I also do just feel like you enjoy meditation, whether that's like yoga or just doing some sort of form of meditation or meditational practice or routine. I I just feel like people see you as actually like I don't know, like you do it so much it's kind of part of your identity, if that makes sense. So you might call yourself a yogi, you might call yourself I don't know. I don't know what you call yourself, but there's something I think you identify that kind of encompasses something like that. So what you have taught others, we have sure-footedness, we have taking risks, and we have seizing the moment. I like that it says selfishness. I feel like I see this as like you have really inspired people to take control of their own life, and if they haven't taken action in their life because they're scared of how other people might perceive them, or if they have people pleasing tendencies, I think you really inspire them to like let that go and get after the things that they're actually really excited about, because all this is kind of talking about taking risks, like taking a chance on the things they want. And that makes sense with your energy because it's so bold and it's so like, well, who cares what other people think? If you're excited about it, you should get after it. This is your life. You take action as you need to. Also, we have the king, control, reversal of fortune. I do feel like that falls into that same kind of category of people where you sometimes try to control how people are going to see you. But like, I feel like people pleasers often don't realize that they're trying to control the situation, if that makes sense. So you feel like you really teach people how to release people pleasing, if that is like a generic way to sum it up. I'm sure you teach them so many more things than just that, but that is like the thing that's really coming through. Like, that is like something that people note about you. The other thing too I see is like you teach them that there is no real consequences that are as great as not going after the thing that you're wanting in your life. Like, you keep looking at this like this rope here and then like gambling, loss, risk. It all seems like, yeah, okay, maybe you don't know what's going to happen if you take that new path, if you change something that you've always done, or if you leave a relationship you've always been in. Like, maybe you don't know what's going to happen, but there's no real, like, the consequences aren't as bad as living with regret for the rest of your life. Like, I just feel like you really inspire that, like, letting go is what I keep saying, like, releasing things, releasing control, releasing needing to know exactly what's going to happen, and just taking a chance on them, taking a chance on their dreams, taking a chance on what they love, and are passionate about, and just thinking about themselves, filling up their cup first. Yeah. That's pretty big. That's like a huge block a lot of people have. So that being said, as I promised your guides, since we have your attention, let's look at just like a card for guidance that they would like you to hear right now. We have release other people's emotions. Ask yourself, is this emotion mine? Exhale uncomfortable feelings that are not yours so they don't linger in your body. Inhale light and space. I actually really like this because it does seem like you are like a bit of a social butterfly, whether you realize it or not. And I think some of you might be like, well, I'm not really extroverted. Maybe I'm like an introverted extrovert or something like that. But I feel like the amount of people that are drawn to you are drawn to your confidence and your courage and your your ability to be in joy or trying to honor being more in joy, that I feel like you can often end up supporting people or hearing a lot of people talk about their troubles and the blocks that they've had with that. So when I see release your energies, I really feel like this is your guide saying, like, just do check-ins that you're not picking up on all these other people's stuff, and that you get to stay in this beautiful little firefly energy, and where you're just a beautiful little light on your own little path doing what you need to do. And then also an affirmation your guides would like you to hear right now. Oh, no. The card just flew away. One moment. It says, I let go of all negativity that rests in my body and mind. So that's actually a pretty similar theme to that. On the other side says, I realize that stress is only fear. I now release all fears. I now release all fears. That's actually so true. Or at least that I realize that stress is only fear. And I now release all fears. So the affirmation is, I let go of all negativity that rests in my body and mind. Okay. So no super long reading. Just wanted to make sure I got a video out for you all, and hopefully this just gave you some reassurances or some clarity on the beautiful ways that people see you. And maybe I'll catch you around sometime. Hello, File 2s. So you chose the Smoky Quartz cluster. Okay, we'll just put that there. Toby's very interested in it. So let's look at how people see you. So, sorry, that's like what you taught them. This is how people see you. So we have camel and we have hawk. Ooh. For right away, what I'm starting to see is like people see you as someone who's able to kind of handle, I don't know, their own, I want to say like their own shit. Can handle yourself. You know how to get through tough times. And I feel like they're just saying, like, you have a really great attitude about when you're kind of going through stressor environments or going through kind of unknown situations. You have this like uncanny hope or optimism of being able to see that this won't last forever, that this isn't going to go on forever. Like you have like a really great, I would almost say neutral perspective. It's not that it's like, you're always like, yes, everything's going to be fine and I'm great. It's more like you just know that everything will pass in time. So I don't know for sure, but I'm getting like a vibe that this pile here, like either people have seen you like start your own business or go through some sort of really hard ending in your life. And I think this has probably happened more than once, but I feel like this is like people who have seen you in these different hardships or these different breaks, different phases. Also getting the vibe that some of you might have had like a partner get ill or had like just like a family member get sick or a job, you had to totally move like states, provinces, countries or something because of a job. I just get like true, sincere hardship, like where there's grief, there's like complete unknowns, complete chaos, complete endings of everything you know, but you still somehow staying grounded in it. And this is how people are seeing you. So I have to say that I know we don't always see this in ourselves, but you still staying grounded, which is also fascinating that you got the Smoky Quartz cluster, because this is all about staying rooted and clearing, like clearing your energy, but still staying as light as you can, staying as centered in self as you can. And that's like pretty on point with how people are seeing you. So for their clarity, we have, look at that, you've got another bird. You have the hawk and the eagle. Trust in the unknown, Sky Father, which I like because I do always see like anything to do with the sky as like being good and changing times. Like when wind comes in to change things and shift things and blow out the old and bring to light the dust that we didn't see. So just really further reiterating that people really see you as someone who doesn't lose faith in your strength of character, your like belief that everything is working out for you, that there's always going to be something of service that comes through all this. That's like the real key thing. There's something of service to come through this, but you do still honor the lower emotions. You do still see through the storm. You just know that you have to honor what comes up, can't control what's happening, and trust that it's all going to be for the best. Be graceful in movement and action, and take care of your needs. So wow, like people just honestly see you as I'm so curious to see what you teach people, because already I would say you're teaching them how to stay centered in themselves, to stay grounded in themselves, and how when you're in the face of very, very hard situations and difficult emotions and in conflict and like just I want to say absolute chaos, like everything changing that you've ever known, they see you choose the root, the place of balance and peace and centering yourself and looking and connecting with your higher self and all those parts of yourself. You don't run away, where it's like you could have been tempted to choose the side of bitterness, blame, victimhood, um, denial. They, like people say, you do not. You move with grace. You process your emotions as you need to. You honor them. That's a word I keep getting. You honor them, and you come with so much wisdom and choose to stay as balanced as you can. And it even says like they see you stay so focused in it. Like I think you create routines. You're like, this is what's important to me. This is how I want to be in this world. So this is how I'll show up. And this is the true test of all these things I believe in, is if I can stay grounded in them in the times of the most difficulty. I don't know if you say that, but it's like how people see you. Like you really practice as you preach, even in the toughest storms. I keep saying that, even in the toughest storms. And you take care of what you're needing. You don't avoid things. You don't avoid what your instincts or your intuition is telling you need to do. I'm so drawn to the snowflakes. It's like you'll go within and you'll take the pause and rest that you need when you need it, understanding that even though you might want it to end, you might want to be more of an action phase, you don't run away from those times where you need to be more still and have more patience with yourself. I just picture people really looking up to you. Like you might be a person that intimidates a lot of the people you know. Oh, sorry, that was my cat. Try to jump off of something onto a shelf, but it just couldn't bear his weight. So it fell before he got anywhere. Um, Anyways, that being said, I do really want to look at what you've taught people. Look at that. Running from problems. I would say you've, like literally, like we were just saying, I think you've taught people to not run away from their problems, because here's a cage and here's all these beautiful flowers growing through it. I think that's literally the perfect symbol for what you teach people. To just, yeah, to experience and express their emotions and fear and see it with grace. We have research. And look at that stubbornness and flexibility. So whenever I see this card for like what you've taught people or like what you're teaching people, I feel like it really symbolizes it starts within, and your perception and your how you believe yourself or feel about yourself goes out into the world. Okay, sorry, my camera battery died and I just quickly had to change it. And two cats noticed they moved and hopped in. So what I was saying, I think it slightly might have cut out, excuse me, boys. Is yeah, I really feel like you teach people that everything starts within their perception, their parts of themselves, their emotions, their shame, their guilt, their fear. Everything starts within themselves, and what they're not seeing, where they're not, like what their attitude is, they all have to look within themselves first instead of projecting outwards, because it starts inwards, it goes outwards, which I think you already know, but that's what really people are learning from you. And I don't know if you literally teach them that, or if you remind people that, if you're like a mentor, a guide, a counselor, or something like that, or if it's literally just what they've learned from you, from watching you, from seeing you do this yourself. So I think I want to be very clear. I think you teach people how to stop running away from things they're scared of about themselves, in themselves, to stop putting blame outside of self and going within and really investigating what is the root cause of these lower emotions, of these fears, of this grief, and just honoring it. And sometimes I don't even think it's like investigating. I think sometimes there's an investigation about maybe where it's being held in their body, or like where this is all stemming from, but I also feel like there's so much about just honoring the process and feeling the emotions. I keep seeing that as I see the flowers growing through the cage, like feeling through the emotions to set yourself free. The key to getting out is to sit and be with and acknowledge and honor the emotions so that they can actually be released. Amazing. This is really big. I feel like when I make a reading kind of short, I feel like sometimes it doesn't emphasize how amazing you're being and how great you are and things like that. And you are really great. You're really great people. You're really inspiring people. And like I was kind of saying, I think you can intimidate people a little bit because they just see you as like someone who is unfazable, who is unshakable. Because even when you've been through the hardest times, they just don't understand how you stay so strong and so centered. And you might not feel that way. Like, I really feel like you might think, like, I was not okay at all. But their perception of you, like, staying with your routines, honoring yourself, trying to take care of yourself, trying to make healthy choices, that was just something they could never have imagined doing themselves. So that's where the intimidation comes from. So that being said, promised your guides I would pull a card while I have your attention for any guidance they want you to just hear today or right now as you're watching this. We have, you can handle this. Oh my dear goodness, my friends. That is such an appropriate card. You can handle this. There is a wise saying, you are never given more than you can handle. Tune into your heart to reconnect with your strength. Holy poop. Holy poop. It's one thing to be talking about that, and then you literally get a card from your guide saying, like, you've got this. You're so capable of this. You're so capable of setting yourself free from the hardest situations. It's really incredible. You also have, I'm just going to pull an affirmation for you that your guides would like you to hear. On the line. Okay. I direct my creative talents towards music, art, dance, writing, anything that gives me pleasure. So the affirmation is, I am learning to be more creative every day. When I see this usually talks about I'm learning to like be more in my joy every day is how I perceive that. But came out for you, so you might know what it means. And doesn't matter what my perception is. I also feel drawn to pull the sunflower card, which says it does not matter what other people say or do. What matters is how I choose to react and what I choose to believe about myself. There's a little bumblebee in there too. It says, I take a deep breath and I allow myself to relax. My whole body calms down. Whew, that does feel good. I feel like I need a deep breath. Maybe that was for me. I'm not sure. Okay. That's all I have for you, pile twos. Oh, I hope you have a good day, night, evening, whatever it is for you. And maybe I'll catch you around sometime. Hello, pile threes. There we go. I feel like I can't zoom in. You chose the clear quartz cluster. And let's look at what you got. So we have, for how people see you, we got frog and we got elk. Very different energies. We also have, for further clarity, she-wolf. Oh no, Toby. Toby, oh no. Sorry, he's like chewing on my camera. Toby, what's going on? That was weird. Okay. Anyways, we have she-wolf, unleash the wild within. Stargazer, set your sights high. Protection guardian, drop your shields. This is a really beautiful card. And then we have shapeshifter, transform and unveil your gifts. Ooh. Okay, so first thing I'm kind of seeing is I feel like you're someone, or someone how they perceive. Actually, you have two wolves. You have two wolves. You have, and I feel like two signs that are talking about emotions and just letting it go, letting them come out. The elk I always see is more of I think of the other animal card deck they use all the time, where elk is seen as nobility for basically going through hardships in life and coming out of it with a lot more wisdom, a lot more certainty in self, and kind of like really like, you know, when you're just like, I know where to go. I know where I'm gonna go. I have seen enough in my life to know what is important to me and where I'm drawn to go because it brings me passion and joy. That's what I see there. But I'm going to take a second just to like take this in here because the frog card's throwing me off a little bit. And I'm just going to give myself a minute to check in what's going on there. Okay, so it's always interesting when you do a card reading and it comes out a little differently than you kind of like envisioned it, but then you just gotta trust how it goes. So when I see like this frog card, which talks about just like being in a time of healing, and the she wolf, Unleash the Wild Within, which literally mirrors that exact same meaning about just letting out those emotions, those like I always think like doing trauma work, literally. Letting go of toxicity and really harmful relationships you might have been in, or just like wounding that you really experience deeply. So I do find it interesting that this is how people are perceiving you. So it's like I want to say like this is more like people are perceiving you in this phase, if that makes sense, versus like this being like a character trait, if that makes sense. I feel like it's a bit twice. So I feel like people are really seeing that you are like healing through, I want to say, trauma, for lack of better words. So like, you know what, actually how I kind of want to see this, like if you came to this reading and you're like, oh no, Toby. Just starts, he's doing the randomest things. It's so weird behavior for him. It's more of a Steve cat thing, not a Toby cat thing. He's usually a little more behaved here. Okay. um Anyways, distraction. I think if you came to this reading and wondering how people are perceiving you because maybe you're like, maybe you're in therapy, maybe you got out of a really toxic relationship or romantic partnership, or you were in some sort of environment where you're literally needing to clear and heal from it. And you're just like, I don't know, I almost get the energy that this, like if you are watching this, you might be like, people hate me, people think I'm a mess, people just are judging me. Like, I don't know for sure, but I kind of get that vibe. And then I see like how people are actually seeing you. Like, that's your fear talking. Let me clarify that first. That's the fear. That's also part of what you're trying to heal right now, is like how you're perceiving yourself. I think you're really hard on yourself and you really worry about judgments of others when they're not actually even really judging you at all. I don't know if they even think about you at all in the way that you're thinking about yourself. But the thing that I see is like, I feel like people are seeing that you're just literally in a healing time right now. And that if you do say have moments where you randomly start crying, or where you like take things really personally, or if you have like, I do want to say defensiveness. Like, say if you like are in conversations and you misinterpret it because it reminds you of something someone said to you that was like really harmful. I just feel like people are not taking it personally, which is actually kind of awesome. So I don't like, this is supposed to be like the majority of people in your life. So I think that's just like, if this is like your friends, I would say, or just even like acquaintances that you see regularly, I think they really do recognize that you're honestly just healing. I don't like, when I see this protection card, I really don't think people are taking it personally. Um and I don't think people are holding it against you. I feel like they're seeing that there's like a beautiful part of you that needs to come through after all this healing. Um, and I feel like that maybe that's even why this out card came through. It's like they can see that you're really focused on getting out of, like, I want to say like this hole that you've been in, or this like yuckiness that you feel like you've been in. And it doesn't mean you're always in it, but I feel like maybe there's like certain people that you wanted to know how they saw you because you feel like they are judging you harshly, or like you're scared they're perceiving you based off of all your worst nightmares and fears. But I really do get like you're just needing to clear and heal through that. I don't think that's actually how people are perceiving you. From what I can see, you feel like people are actually very like, they feel like they have very understanding energy towards you. They just see you as a human who's struggling and who is working on it. So I really want to be clear, like they see that you're not going to be like this forever, and that like I just keep getting, you don't take it personally. You know that it's just like a hard time for you and you need to let this out. So I'm kind of laughing because every time I look at this card, it's always like you need to physically like get out of your body. Like this is like somatic work, deep breath work. This is like, you know, you run until you cry and you like stop fighting those walls you've put up and you just let it out. Like it's just like that like deep primitive kind of like healing release work that's very physical. Um very deep layers. And the shapeshifter, so this is like a saying, like they really do see how you're changing and shifting. So that might be another thing. If you're like, no one even sees the progress I've made, I do see that people do see that. Sorry, I keep saying a lot of repetitive things today. People do see you transforming. They see you shifting. And I would also say that people are seeing you come together. So it's like maybe they only saw parts of you, and I feel like they're seeing how like you've worked a little bit here, you've worked a little bit on that thing, you've worked on this other limiting belief. They're seeing how it's all coming together, and in the long run, it's going to bring more balance into your life, if that makes sense. The wolf twice. The wolf twice is so interesting. I don't know if you just have like a connection to dogs. That could be it. You might really like dogs, or you might really want to be part of like a pack. Like you might want to really be part of like a group of people who always have each other's back, who are really close. You might be, and this might be the people that you were inquiring about. Um, but either way, I do feel like the wolf just feels like a confirmation in some way for you. So sorry, I can't quite put my finger on it, but it feels important. I also get it around like learning to follow your wisdom instead of your initial reactions. Does that make sense? Like it's almost like a wolf. I don't know. I see wolves as very wise and intellectual. But they also have like that side to them where they could just go into like that primitive instinct, and I feel like it's saying like you're really learning how to not go into that. You're connecting in with the intuition and that deeper, wiser aspect of yourself versus that reactionary side which served you in your past relationships. Or like I should say, like I feel like you're just honestly releasing a lot of trauma. So you're gonna get triggered and things are gonna happen, but that's okay. um the set your sights higher, like I really feel like this is saying that people also see that you're wanting to change for yourself, which is huge because changing for other people, doesn't ever really work. We have to want it for ourselves. So I just really feel like whoever you're inquiring about really sees that you're learning to set boundaries and standards for yourself, and you're learning how to release these fears and anxieties and limiting beliefs. So people do see that you're going through quite a bit of a healing phase in your life, which is huge. So that being said, let's look at what you've taught people. Okay, already I'm seeing cord cutting. Like, look at that. This is crazy. Every one of these cards has a cord in it. I don't know if you can quite see it because it's kind of a thin line, but there's like a thread connecting these two people, and there's like a cord here. So overcoming slights, apologies, accepting help and guidance. So I definitely feel like you're teaching people to cut cords with, how would I put that? Like I'm like keep thinking of Honoponopono, where it's like, you know what? Yeah, I don't know. I feel like you're kind of teaching. I don't know if I should say this is how you're teaching people, or if this is advice on what you can do for these people that you're kind of had in mind. Because like I said at the start, like this was for how the majority of people are seeing you, but I feel like you kind of had a specific majority in your mind. I think these are people where might have multiple people that you're scared don't like you, for lack of better words. And I feel like I'm actually getting more so advice on cord cutting to lessen those attachments to those people. So it's like cord cutting is just like sending a little healing prayer to people. So it's like saying, I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Bless you. I release you. You release me. And it's kind of based off of a Hawaiian modality where they believe that we're all connected in one way. So if I say I love you, I'm saying it to myself, but I'm also saying it to the other person. When I say I'm sorry, I'm saying it to myself because I need to hear it from that person, but I also, that other person needs to hear it from me. I like, thank you for being part of my life. They needed to hear it. You needed to hear it. Thank you for the lesson. It's just so, it can encompass so much. So you just say, I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Bless you. Like, I want the best for you. You want the best for me, despite what frictions we've had. And I release you. You release me. I always say that, like those two I added because I just always wanted it to be more like, let us have the ending of this weird friction or this weird ego battle that we're in. So I always add that in because it just makes me feel like it's more complete. What is wild how much of a game changer that can be. It seems super simple, but if you think about it, it can be really hard to say that to ourselves, let alone other people. Just you don't have to say it to them out loud. You can just say it internally. And it still makes a difference because out of that principle that we all are connected somehow, like mushrooms are all connected or plants all talk to each other. Like it's the same unexplainable science is how I see it. So I do feel like that will really help. So I feel like it will help you with like not feeling so attached to frictions that might have happened between people. And when I see apologies, I feel like it's like if you feel like you need apologies from people who are not able to give them to you, then that's like another way to get it is by giving it to yourself. So cord cutting in that way, find is so healing. Okay, that being said, I promised your guides that while I have your attention, we would pull a card for you on guidance that they would like you to hear from them right now. So just one card. We have quiet your mind. Overthinking a problem is not the key to any door. Take a few breaths to still your inner chatter. Let yourself just be for a while. I really like this because it kind of goes with that like over worrying kind of energy that I picked up a bit, where it makes sense. It's just like a coping mechanism, right? Like if you could overthink the situation, then you could try to control it and try to make it as safe as possible so that there'd be the least amount of consequences in the past. But now it's not serving you because it causes so much stress, so much anxiety, so much nervous system um, stress. Nervous system is everything. It will make us have a bad immune system. It will make our digestion not work. It will, like it controls so many things. So learning to let the nervous system be calmer is like huge for our overall health, especially with autoimmune issues and digestive issues, which I kind of feel like one in the same. Nausea, anxiety, they're all pretty connected when it comes to the nervous system. So, that being said, I also am going to pull just a card for an affirmation that your guys would like you to hear. Just the one for pile 3. We have, from time to time, I ask those I love, how can I love you more? Oh, there's a cat. Love cats. It says, enduring loving relationships brighten my life. So that's the affirmation. Enduring loving relationships brighten my life. And I think this is actually great. I mean, obviously your guides know what's great for you. They know you. They know you better than anyone else. They know you as well as you know yourself, debatably. I love that because it's talking about, instead of focusing on these people that you aren't close with, I think you might even call them your haters. Like you might, instead of focusing on your haters, focus on people that you already have mutually loving relationships with. And on that note, I do want to correct, these people don't hate you. That's a fear. There's nothing in this energy that says these people hate you. They just see you as someone who's healing and who's struggling right now, but they see that you're going to get through it and you're going to be like a different person at the end of it. But they don't actually sense any hostility towards you. So I really feel like that's just part of the fears. I want to be clear that these people do not dislike you. They just see that you're healing and that you're going through a tough time. And I don't really get anything else. But for you, it doesn't really serve you to think about these people because they don't seem relevant in your life. What seems relevant in your life are these people who are loving, who come from a heart-centered place, who want to support you, who show up for you every day. Those are the people who matter. Those are the people who love you. Those are the people you love. So focus on those. Enduring living relationships brighten my life. Okay, that's all I have for you, pile threes. I hope that helped. Hope you heard some things that brought maybe some clarity for you. And I might catch you in another pick a card reading. You guys have a good one.